Greetings, friends, enemies, and family, in that particular order. Whenever I see a student book club sale or a library discard sale, I am like a Keter class of an SCP. I cannot be contained. And that being the case, I have gotten way too many books over the past month and a half, 2 months. I have a lot of books right now, but I have not finished yet going to those sales because at one of my local libraries, there's a student book club sale every single Monday that's only open on Monday for a few hours, where the proceeds go to benefiting the student book club at the library and buying books for the library. However, my library is also undergoing renovation soon, so they've been having a huge discard sale to try and make room for, new inventory and stuff like that. I'm a pretty regular patron to the student book club sales and the discard sales whenever they have them, but particularly over the past month or so, I have been a menace to their society. And it's not over yet. There's still one more week, but I have so many books on my floor that I'm just gonna go ahead and film this part of the haul, and then whenever I finish next week, next Monday, it's the last day that they're having both the sales before the library closes to the public. So then that will be the final part of my haul. But I don't want to do it all at once, because I know it's probably going to be a free-for-all at the last one, so we're just going to go ahead and do part of the haul right now. There's really going to be no particular order here. I have all the stacks right here next to me. A lot of these I don't know the plot of. Sometimes I like going into a book not really knowing that, and then some I do. And I also use these opportunities to go ahead and get Christmas or birthday gifts whenever I saw fit. But a portion of these books will not be staying here, and I'll let you know when those come up. I don't even know where to start, because there's just so much to start. I wish I could tell you a full cost at the end of this, and maybe I'll try, but I can confidently say that I've spent less than $100 on all of this. Which, as we stand right now, is already less than $1 a book. So if you're wondering why I'm filming this in 2 parts instead of just sucking it up and doing it all in one go, I want to show you what my room looks like right now. The consequences so far of my actions. No, but for real. This is ridiculous, and I still got one more week to go. Not those over there. Not those over there. Don't look at those. These giant stacks. You see? Usually at these sales, the hardbacks are about $2 and the paperbacks are $1, and then some children's books and stuff are about 50 cents. So it really is a bang for your buck. And this is what I told the librarians and all the people there. I'm like, hey, I would rather spend $1 on a book that I might not like here versus $16 at Amazon or Barnes & Noble and stuff like that, and then have $15 more dollars sunk into it than buying it from y'all and then end up hating it. Because at least when I spend $1 at my library, I know where it's going. I know where that money is going. And it's going to be poured back into the library as an investment for me when they buy books that I probably will want to read or I will love. Also, you should just be supporting your local libraries and supporting your local community anyway. What's wrong with you? And if you are doing that, there's nothing wrong with you. You're perfect and I love you. Okay, buffering. Oh, okay, it was a particular danger this past Monday because the student book club sale was saying that they need to have their room emptied out by the time that they close. They also have been slashing their prices as the weeks are, coming by, but this particular week, they had a sack sale. So they had 50-cent sacks, $1 sacks, $2 sacks. Basically, you picked your price, you picked your sack, and however many books you could fit within that sack, that's what you paid for it. So I got 2 $1 sacks. So that means I got like 40 books for $2. And that was just in one day. And then that's not counting the books I got from the discard sale. I think this is a trilogy, so if that's so, I got all 3 books of it, but I got the God Speaker series by Karen Miller. The first book is Empress. The second book is The Riven Kingdom, and the third book is Hammer of God. I love chonky fantasy, even if it hurts my wrist to read. These covers intrigue me. I feel like I've heard a lot about this author's other series and good things. And the back of this one says, her name is Hecate, and she will be slave to no man. Yeah, duh, I'm gonna pick it up. Also just good floppage. That's what she said. Then I got the first 4 books in the Tale of Inarin. Again, just good chonky fantasy. The first book is The Thief's Gamble. These are by Julia E. McKenna. The second book is The Swordsman's Oath. Third book, The Gambler's Fortune. And the fourth book, The Warrior's Bond. I do believe this is a 5-book series or 6-book series, but hey, I got the first 4. But Chey, what if you end up not liking them? Okay, I can donate them elsewhere. Again, these are part of the books that I got for $2, 40 books for $2, so what do I care? This one I am particularly excited about, because if you know anything about me, if you know, you know. Hamlet, Inner Critic. I have been trying to read more academic, more scholarly works lately about things that I love, and Hamlet is my favorite Shakespeare play besides Macbeth or Titus Andronicus. I love Hamlet so much. So those two things coincide. These are just a bunch of essays about Hamlet, and I'm like, hey, why not? I want to be a nerd too, so. This I got from the library discard sale. You're gonna realize the ones I got from the discard sale because they're in library binding. Karen Russell's Orange World and Other Stories. Just a book of short stories, but the fox on the cover got me. And I don't own many orange books. I say as the Poppy War and the Iliad are sitting right there. Ignore that. Home Place, a southern town, a country legend, and the last days of a mountaintop honky-tonk. Just a nonfiction about small towns, the South, country music. Obviously means a lot to me being from where I'm from, which is Middle Tennessee, the deep woods of Tennessee. This one is depressing. The Ravine, a family, a photograph, and a massacre. I don't know if YouTube will dink me for saying that word, but by Wendy Lauer. This author's motivated me because she wrote H's Furies. This reminded me of work that I did in college. So I specifically had, saying an interest sounds weird, but I specifically worked with in Eastern Europe, documenting it and working with teams to like go over there and speak to witnesses, last witnesses, and get testimonies and stuff like that. So I'm very interested in the subject, and this reminded me of part of that work. And we also had to read her work as part of that group. And I was like, I wonder if the guy that I worked with is mentioned in this book. So I turned to the index, and he was. And I was like, of course he's there. And so when I went to the checkout counter at the library, mind you, I've been buying books every week, I was telling the librarian who called me out, she was the one that was like, the other day when I was like, oh, I came just in time because she was restocking the books. And she said, do you have room for any more? If she could see my floor. But so I went up to the counter, I was like, I only brought $4 in today, that way I could limit myself to what I got, but I already got one for next time I'm gonna get. And she was like, which one is it? And so I was telling her about this, and she was like, girl, just take it. Girl, just take it. And she turned to the other librarian, and she's like, she's been buying books here every week. Just take it. And so I was like, thank you. And it turns out my dude blurbed the book on the back, and I was like, of course, there he is. So another nonfiction that I'm very interested to read, especially considering that it has a lot of personal meaning to me and work that I've done. Much less depressing, The Bird Way. This is a book about birds. A new look at how birds talk, work, play, parent, and think. I like birds, so why not? And this is the best book out of every single one of them. Beauty and the Beast, the actual like Disney storybook of it. Beauty and the Beast is my favorite Disney movie. Don't come at me. And does that say a lot about me growing up? Probably. But I love this, and I'm so glad to own it. I probably have my own childhood version of this somewhere, but now I have another one. It's mine. Did I take it from some other little kid having a formative experience? Yes. Do I care? No. Oh, Piglet! He's fallen. Colson Whitehead, The Intuitionist. I talked to my friend M because she is my authority on authors that I've never heard of but seem important. Or seem like particularly interesting, like in litfic, or have some kind of essence. And a finalist for the Hemingway something award, Penn Hemingway Award, anything that's got Hemingway's name on it. So I asked her about this author, and I think she said like she hasn't read anything by him, but he's on her list to read. And so I was like, that's good enough for me. And the premise sounds definitely interesting. It's two warring factions in the Department of Elevator Inspectors in a bustling metropolis vie for dominance. It sounds kind of like Vonnegut satirism, while also being kind of a good Ayn Rand, like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of serious commentary, but also being satirist like Vonnegut. So I'm very intrigued in this one. And also the cover is gorgeous. Star Wars, The New Jedi Order, Dark Tide 1, Onslaught by Michael Stackpole. They have a bunch of different Star Trek and Star Wars novels, and my buddy Nat, one of my besties, Nat, Nerdy Nat Reads, you should go sub to her if you aren't already. What's wrong with you? I am doing a reading vlog for her birthday coming up, and she loves Star Wars. She's doing a Star Wars canon project that I love to watch, even though I don't read Star Wars books. I just like to listen to her talk about them because she loves them so much, and it gives me joy. So I am going to read a couple for her birthday. I thought this was perfect that my library had this. I don't really know. It's about some Friggin' forces threatening the new Jedi Order. I don't know. I'm clearly such a fan, can you tell? Shadowbred by Paul S. Kemp. The lady has spoken to me. It's already begun. Shadows move out of the shrinking desert south to the rich and arrogant cities of Symbia. I love fantasy, and this looks super cool. It actually reminded me, I actually have the book right here. This cover reminded me of a series that I'm loving, even though I haven't really finished it. So, it reminds me of the cover of Glenn Cook's books. I don't want to get up and knock over the... Chey, stop being lazy. Go get it. It's giving me the same vibes as this. You see it, right? You see it? You see it, right? It actually kind of reminds me of the other series. Oh god, what is it? Black Storm or... something. I'll put up the cover, but yeah, same vibes, and so I picked it up. I'm also hoping that it fulfills one of the fantasy bingo prompts, actually. Another chunky fantasy series, we got I believe this is called The Water Givers, but the side says Stormlord, so the Stormlord trilogy, Water Givers trilogy, by Glenda Lark. We have The Last Stormlord, Stormlord Rising, Stormlord's Exile, almost said The Stormlord. You get it, look at that, so serious. But yeah, I don't know, it's some kind of environmental fantasy, high fantasy, and I'm kind of new to that, but I'm very intrigued. The Greatest Monsters in the World by Daniel Cohen. I recently just finished a sort of a book like this in one of my reading vlogs. But yeah, I just love these little childhood nostalgic books about monsters and stuff like that. It gives me joy. And also they're great for reading challenges. Reading hack. I should read this for the 30 and 30. Bigfoot. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. There he is. I met Bigfoot recently in Alabama. No joke. That's not him. That's an imposter. That's not Bigfoot. I met Bigfoot. The other two Star Wars books I got are Star Wars, The New Jedi Order. Apparently this is in the same series as that first one, but this is books 4 and 5. The New Jedi Order, Agents of Chaos 1, and Agents of Chaos 2. I told Nat, when I sent her a little book haul, that Han Solo looks particularly distraught, and then I found out, reading the back, I'll just show you my live reaction. In the darkest of times, the noble Chewbacca is laid to rest. I don't want to read this. Oh my god, I went in here for a good Star Wars time and they're like, Chewbacca? He's fucking dead. He's fucking dead. He's fucking in the dirt. He's fucking Chew passed away. He's laid to rest, having died as heroically as he lived, and a grief-stricken Han Solo. That is, oh my god, I was right. That is why he looks particularly distraught. Is left to fit the pieces of his shattered life back together. Refusing help from Luke or Leia, Han becomes the loner he once was, seeking to escape the pain of his partner's death and adventure and revenge. Honor Chewbacca's sacrifice in the only way that matters, but being worthy of it. Oh my god, I got Chewbacca grief horror. What the I really know how to pick them, don't I? This one is particularly cool. Buffy the Vampire Slayer Returned to Chaos. I love Buffy. I love Spike. Very formative to young Chey. So, we have The Prince of the Blood, or Prince of the Blood, and The King's Buccaneer by Raymond E. Feist. I believe these are the first two in some kind of series. I've heard a lot about this author, and I thought, you know, I'm getting these for like a penny. Why not try them? Because they're the old covers that I can eventually donate them or whatever. I know it's a beloved author enough that I could find these a good home if I don't end up liking them. I hope that I do, though. Obviously. I hope that I do. I didn't just get these because I have so many books. One rule, oh my gosh.
ADHD activated.
Remember this? Remember when that was a thing? I didn't just get books to get them. I am the only 60s guy in the world. You know who that is? Yeah, he got married, didn't he? Good for him. But I didn't get books just to get them. I got books because I knew I was going to read them, I had an honest interest in them, or I was getting them for someone else. I don't have room to just be getting books to get books, okay? Even if it's for free. I don't. But I feel like I am going to read all these, so that's why don't come at me for that. If you do, you get the horns. This one I saw the cover of and immediately almost bursted out laughing, and I didn't even realize what was fully on the front cover until I stared at it after I got it home, because that was how much I just looked at the front cover and I was like, you're coming home with me. We have Robert Silverberg's Lord Valentine's Castle. Now I want you to take a closer look at the cover. Yeah, the longer you look at it. You see the aliens? You see the aliens? I didn't. That's so funny, because I didn't. And not until I got home. And then I was like, oh, so it's Star Wars goes to a Ren Fair. Fun! And then the second one is Valentine Pontifex. I have no clue. Some dude forgets where he's from and he's some kind of a ruler of a lost world or something. I don't freaking know, dude. You got me with the juggling. This one I love the cover of. It is volume 1 of the Histories of King Kelson, Catherine Kurtz, the Bishop's Heir. Stunning. Please bring this artwork back. Please bring it back. I love it so much. Again, no idea what it's about. Some king drama, I don't know. I think this next series is a trilogy, but I'm not too certain, but either way, I got the first 3 books of it. This is the Chronicles of King Roland's Kin. Book 1, The King's Bastard. Book 2, The Uncrowned King. Book 3, The Usurper. I randomly opened this. This is book 3, right? So I randomly opened it just to read a line, and I liked what I read so far, and luckily it wasn't a spoiler, because I'm really bad about doing that. But yeah, I don't know. Seems kind of cool. Seems like my kind of fantasy, just from bits and pieces. I didn't read the back of half of these. These are cover, but I rarely dislike fantasy. I rarely dislike fantasy. Only 7 minutes younger than Rolacina's heir, Byron has never hungered for the throne. He laughs when a seer predicts that he will kill his twin. Okay, King. 2001, A Space Odyssey. This cover is just really cool. This edition is awesome. I've never read this. It's a classic. Douglas Adams, Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. I butchered this when trying to tell Nat about it. But yeah, again, another classic that I have not yet read. I think I will love it. I've read The Restaurant at the End of the Universe and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I've read the first 2 books in that series, and I love them. I actually like the second one better than the first one, I think. Continuing the theme of classics I have not yet read, Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. Nat actually has the same edition as this, so twinning. Nat is just getting all the love in this video, but yeah, isn't this cool? I'm not really a big sci-fi girl. I'm just not, but hey, you never know. I also don't think that I've ever read anything by that author, so I need to fix that. This one, y'all will not be shocked by. King of Thorns. If you're new here, hi, this is my favorite series of all time. The Broken Empire trilogy. Mark Lawrence has a chokehold on my entire life, as well as Stephen Graham Jones. This has been at the book sale for forever, and I was like, if it's there next week, I'm gonna get it. And I kept telling myself, if it's there next week, I'm gonna get it. Because I would want someone who saw this and needed to complete the series to get it first. But I couldn't help myself. I finally got it, because it's always good to have an extra copy. You know, because I only have one... This sounds so bad. I only have 1 copy of each mass market paperback. So, obviously, I need 2. Do I have, like, 2 hardbacks of Emperor of Thorns? Yes, mind your business. This is only my 2nd copy of the mass market paperback of King of Thorns, which is honestly probably my favorite cover, because just look at him. Jorg Ancraft ruined men for me, and that's not even a joke. Jorg Ancraft ruined men for me. If you've read Broken Empire, you're probably like, don't worry about it. It's none of your business. If you don't believe me, if you're new here, where is he? That if there's my Broken Empire trilogy shrine. Yeah. Oh, and I just got the Broken Binding editions of King of Thorns and Emperor of Thorns. Why did they make no Prince of Thorns special edition? What's up with that? I don't like that. This is not a Jorg vlog, though. This is not a Jorg vlog, though that is in the works. Laura Resnick's The White Dragon, Part 1 in Fire Forged. I don't really own any dragon fantasy, but you know what? It's time to fix that. Blue Eyes White Dragon? Seto Kaiba, anyone? Yeah, you're not gonna be surprised that I was in the Seto, are you? Yeah, no one's shocked. No one is shocked. I am not new to the love a villain trend. I was born there. I was raised among the darkness, or whatever that dude said. Another classic I have not yet read, Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. Excited to get this to this one. It's got that sweet decaying page smell, and someone read this and underlined, like annotated very lightly in it. Oh, and Ron Hardison, his book, it says. Yeah, well, not anymore, Ron. Here's one that I got that I have already read because it is a book of poems. Thrall by Natasha Trethewey. I am not going to pronounce that right. I'm sorry if I butchered it to hell and back. But this was really good. This was written by the author. Thank you, Chey. But it is. Look how small this is. Book of poems, really impactful. It is, like, inspired by a bunch of paintings that the author was looking at Their poems are all at once deeply personal and historical, exploring her own interracial and complicated roots and connecting them to ours. The daughter of a black mother and white father, a student of history in the Deep South, she's inspired by everything from colonial paintings of mulattoes and mestizos to the stories of people forgotten by history. Yeah, a lot of this, like the poems, have reference to different paintings and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool, a blend of mediums. I would recommend you pick this up, because it is really short read, really quick read, but really impactful. We're through like 2 of the stacks. You want to take a break and talk about some gifts for people? Sure, let's do that. Lee Child, Make Me. The author's Lee Child. The book is not called Lee Child. The book is called Make Me. It's a Jack Reacher novel. I got this from my mom, just because she likes action novels, and apparently you don't need to read these in order. More Girls Who Rock the World. This is heroines from Ada Lovelace to Misty Copeland, just a book about, you know, badass women. And I got this for one of the kids in my life, one of the girls. A lot of my friends have daughters, so I thought that this would be a good book for them to grow up with. I honestly might read it first, just as little vignettes to hopefully inspire me to look into more of these individuals that I may have never heard of, and then pass it along. Christmas is still a little bit away, so I have time. Angel, don't watch the next, 30 seconds of this. Hunting Annabelle by Wendy Hurd. The photographer, this is like a photographer that he's a serial killer, that's right. Sean Suh is done with killing. After serving 3 years in a psychiatric prison, he's determined to stay away from temptation, but he can't resist Annabelle, who alone can see past the monster side the man he's desperately trying to be, and then she disappears. So he thinks she's been kidnapped, and he's like, hey, that's mine! And so he starts to go after it. It sounds dark, it sounds kind of gross, but intriguing. I got it from my friend. Lauren Groff, Matrix, another one I don't really know much about. It's more litfic-y, and I don't like litfic. I got this from my friend. So, Angel, Merry Christmas. A Mouse Called Mika, just a really cute story about a couple of mice going on an adventure. Good kid's gift. David Baldacci, The Target, again another one from my mom who just blows through action books and then passes them along. Sunny Bunny, this is a gift for my dad for his birthday that's coming up because we have a dog that we call her Sunny Bunny because her name is Sunny and she's a German Shepherd, so she's got ears like a really big bunny. Flip Flap, Ocean, this is just a flip book of different animals from the ocean. Wow, that looked completely inappropriate at first. YouTube is gonna there we go. That's better. I just thought this would be a fun gift. Fun educational book. Dog Breath by Dave Pelkey. This author, if you know Dave Pelkey. If you're as old as me, you remember him. But I've never read this book by him before until, the other day. Oh, I need to count that towards my 30 and 30. But I thought, hey, I should give another kid in my life the experience of growing up with this author, even if not in the exact same way. Oh No, Gotta Go. This is a bilingual book, actually. A kind of like a first step in Spanish type book. I think it's from Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. I don't know what it's about. I think it's a kid that really has to go to the bathroom or something while they're hurrying somewhere, while they're driving somewhere. So it has English, but then it also just has the bilingual. Thought it would be a fun storybook, a fun first step towards learning a second language, while you're young. This one I thought was cool, and I'm tempted to keep it for myself. It's Ninja Red Riding Hood. Need I say more? This one's pretty cool as well. Making Their Voices Heard, the inspiring friendship of Ella Fitzgerald and Marilyn Monroe. Obviously, there's a lot of complicated talk about classism, racism, sexism, all of that can go into a discussion surrounding these two and their friendship. But this is a book for kids. It's just a really great introduction to the subject and actually goes pretty in-depth, even though it's I don't say basic as an insult, but it really is just a children's, basic children's book, but it's a really nice, sweet story, a good introduction to the subject, a good, fair, balanced view on this friendship, and how impactful these women were in their own times, or in their own mediums, I should say. I thought it was really well done. I did skim it through in the library because I was like, how's it going to handle this? I think it handles it really well. World Playground, a multicultural activity set. This one is really cool because it actually goes through a bunch of different countries and has a CD with all kinds of local music and important cultural music to these countries and activities and stuff like that. So the Congo and different instruments, going through stuff like that. I thought this would be a really fun way to educate and have fun for a kid. I know there's people whose kid wants that? I do know a couple of kids in my family who are going to love this, so I'm excited to give it to them. Alright, if you're as old as me, if you're 26 or slightly older, or even slightly younger, honestly, prepare to have your neck snapped by nostalgia. I am too absolutely small for school. Charlie and Lola. Charlie and Lola! Yeah, you remember that? Did I just trigger you? I Hey, I'm giving some kid nostalgia they don't even know that they have. And the last one for this stack, Squeak. Just a cute little story about a mouse. This is also Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, which if you don't know what Dolly Parton's Imagination Library is, you should look it up, and it's one of the many reasons that she is the patron mother saint of Tennessee. Okay, those are all the gifts off the top of my head. Let's get into the rest of these. I just dropped like half of those. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. I'm gonna drive myself crazy with this in editing, so Chey, I am so sorry in advance. I recently read Dark Lover by J.R. Ward, and now the Black Dagger Brotherhood has me in a chokehold. I love J.R. Ward as a personality before I actually ever finished that book, but then I loved the book after I read it, and imagine my surprise when I went to the library sale, and they had practically every book up to the current book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, which, by the way, is up to, like, book 23. And that's not including the spin-off series, either. Black Dagger Legacy and then Black Dagger the Prison Camp series or something, which I already own book 1 of that. So as you can imagine, each week that I went, I bought several more of the Black Dagger Brotherhood series every single time. Now, I didn't have every single book. I think I'm only missing, like, 2 or 3, including, like, the most recent one, because these are typically used books. But I got pretty much a majority of them. They are in a mix of mass market paperbacks and hardcovers. I don't really mind that so much, because if I go through these and end up loving them, then maybe I'll donate the mass market paperbacks and look for a hardcover to replace it or something. I'm not that worried about it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pick these up and go through them for you, and editing Chey is going to put them in order by number. Sorry, Chey. Real quick TLDR on this series, but you know what, actually, I'm just gonna play the clip of J.R. Ward that I love so much.
Are gritty, dark, and emotional. What inspired the tone of the BDB world?
Oh, fuck, Liz, you know. Like, that's the most...
It's not my question.
That is a great question. I'm so glad you asked. So I'm not actually smart enough to think up my books. I just see pictures in my head, and I am a secretary. I write that shit down. I do what my Rice Krispies tell me, and they decided that a love story by a tax accountant named Eugene and a librarian named Sarah Jane, that was not the shit we were writing. So a bunch of guys with fangs and black leather showed up in my head, and shit got dark. Shit got way dark. And very sexy.
Book 1, Dark Lover. This is the only one that I have read, and I loved it. Lover Eternal, Lover Awakened, Lover Revealed, Lover Unbound, Lover Enshrined. Oh, there's another J.R. Ward book too. This is the Black Dagger Brotherhood and Insider's Guide. Yeah, by book 4. I think this is book 4, technically. She wrote an Insider's Guide to the World. My lady was plot building already, and I love it. This has, like, interviews with her and some of the guys and, like, profiles of different stuff. The brothers on the board. What is this? Oh, they have chat rooms of the boys? There's online chat room logs of the guys. This is hilarious. Hi, my name is V. I've been knitting for 125 years now. Knitters Anonymous. I'm obsessed. Oh my god. I need to read book 2. This has gotta be book 6, because Lover Revenge, I think, is book 7. Oh my god, that is so funny. Why did I not open that earlier? That is so funny. She's so funny. Lover Avenged. This video is really testing my wrist strength. Lover Mine. Lover Unleashed. Lover Reborn. Lover at Last. The King. The Shadows. The Shadows. Can I say that any weirder? This cover in particular cracks me up, and you'll see why. The Beast. Ah, it's over 9,000! But look at the end pages. Isn't that gorgeous? Cover up, you whore. The Chosen, The Thief, and this one is extra cool because it actually turns out that it's a signed copy. Cool. Prisoner of Night. The Savior, Where Winter Finds You, A Warm Heart in Winter, Lover Arisen, Lassiter, again, another part of the Black Dagger Legacy series, Blood Kiss, Blood Vow, Blood Fury, Blood Truth, and that was so much of a majority of this haul so far. I think she definitely has a monopoly on being the author that I have the most of. But that's all the J.R. Ward that I have so far. Literally every single J.R. Ward book that I own, I got for the library sale, which is pretty cool. Now onwards and upwards. The Samurai's Tale by Eric Christian Haugaard. This seems like it's I feel like I read this story. I feel like I've seen a film that is this story, because it's talking about Lord Takeda's soldiers. They spare Taro's life. Lord Akiyama. Is this the Kurosawa movie? Is this, oh my god, what is that movie called? I love that movie. I'm gonna have to look this up. But that's why I got this, because it reminded me of that, but I also just love this time period. I find it so interesting. It's one of my hyperfixations, so I thought it could be fun to try. The Heroine with 1,000 Faces. Any book that talks about women as heroines or women as monsters, especially like nonfiction like this, I'm all over it. That is part of my personal curriculum this fall, is studying monstrosity and femininity. Wow, look at what my children have done to me. Look at that. Y'all don't even want to see my legs. Enemy of All Mankind. This is a true story of piracy, power, and history's first global manhunt. About one of the first pirates that they actually went on a global manhunt for. Yeah, pirates! Ah. To Hell on a Fast Horse. Billy the Kid, Pat Garrett, and the epic chase to justice in the Old West. I'm on a Billy the Kid kick right now. I'm reading a Billy the Kid book, which I just found out today is written by the guy who voices Sheriff in Cars. What? And there's so many digs at Nathaniel Hawthorne in that book, which is so funny, because he's just catching strays left and right, as my friend M said. And I'm like, you're telling me... I'll just send you a screenshot. I'll send you a screenshot. Yeah, I'm gonna DM you personally. Watch out. Yeah, this was for sale in the library discard stuff, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna feed my hyperfixation right now. There's some family lore, which, considering my family, I would believe one of our family members was either in Jesse James' gang or Billy the Kid's. I don't remember. I think it was Jesse James. And I believe that there is credence to that story, but don't ask me to explain the specific origins of it. I don't fully remember. But I'm also related to Andrew Jackson, and I'm Native American. Justice really does get served down the line. I kind of want to read this right now, actually. Is that bad? From the orchard, Billy walked to the home of... Oh, that's right before he... Oh, no, I don't want to read that. I think my love for Billy the Kid first came from the Nicholas Flamel series, the Immortal Secrets of Nicholas Flamel, because I think I wrote fanfiction back in the day, and, like, is Billy the Kid in those books? I don't remember. But I think I, like, created a character that was, like, friends with Billy the Kid, who was friends with them, or something, and I think that's kind of where... started. Anyway, Element, Fiona Mosley. I love spooky woods. You know anything about me? Spooky woods, horror in a forest. I'm there. For horrorist. For horrorist? You get it. I don't think many people do nature horror very well, so I'm intrigued. But if you look at other covers, it doesn't seem much like horror, so I think that it is more of a lit-ficky kind of... I don't even know if it's like horrors, but it talks about ghosts of the ancient forest, and it looks creepy, and so I think it's just creepy kind of lit-fic, and if I know that going into it, I'll probably like it better. It's very Hemingway-esque, but I think it's also Faulkner. It's like Faulkner and Hemingway had a baby with the writing style. Because it's very strange. No, it was Hemingway and Stephen Graham Jones. Because it's kind of weird and it's stream of consciousness, but it is also very kind of iceberg method of writing. I'm liking it. I'm liking it so far. The Killer in Me. This is about two kids. This is how the thief thinks. 17-year-old Nina Barrows knows all about the thief. She's intimately familiar with his hunting methods, how he stalks and kills at random, and she thinks she finds him, I believe, and goes after him, and, like, tracks him to his home, but then as it happens, like, as it's going on, she's like, wait a minute, it may not be him, so who is this guy? And why is he slightly fit the profile, but also, where is the real one? I don't know. It seems like something my mom would enjoy, but also something, like, I might enjoy. I try it. Love and Other Natural Disasters. I believe this is a YA, like late YA, maybe like high school age. But it's like fake dating, romance, kind of summer, and it looks like it has a lot of, I think it like has LGBTQ representation, but also mental health rep. Thought it'd be a cute, fun time. You know, sit in winter and get warm, cozy, fuzzy feelings. What am I talking about? I don't know what love is. Sounds Like Titanic, a memoir. It was the cover that gripped me about this, but this person came from the rural South, went all the way to be in a very famous orchestra, and then, like, their life fell apart. This is what it feels like. Again, just another kind of YA that seemed like it would be a fun time with different kinds of rep. I believe it's kind of romance, kind of just coming of age. Oh, and it's about a band, that's right. Dia knows, like, it's about a band contest, coming of age and stuff, and I love, love messy band stories. Gentleman's Guide to Getting Lucky. This is the 1.5 of... This is the book after Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, which I have not yet read, but I plan to. So it's just good that I have this on deck. Memoirs of a Geisha, another classic that I have not yet read. Oh, J.R. Ward is falling. This one I was so excited about because I had never heard of this book, and I love Hemingway, one of my favorite authors, and I had never heard of this book, but this is The Dangerous Summer by Ernest Hemingway. I guess it was an essay or something that he wrote for a newspaper about the bullfighting summer in Spain when he was older, like in the 60s, in the 50s, in the late 50s, but they published it into this book. The first 40 pages are an introduction. Whatever. But it's really interesting because it's just a nonfiction work, kind of like A Movable Feast, if you've read A Movable Feast, which everyone should read, by the way. It's amazing. But it's kind of like that, where it's sort of narrative nonfiction. It's really interesting because it's about Spain and the bullfighting culture and industry. It's cool. It's really cool. Nobody ever asked me about The Girls, Women, Music, and Fame by Lisa Robinson. Women in music. Need I say more? Nonfiction about her time as a journalist covering music and women. A few kids books that I got for myself because you're never too old to read kids books, and I don't care what you say. Princesses and Heroines, Fantasy and Folklore. Just thought this would be a cool read. I might end up passing this one on, but I do want to read it first. Especially for my personal curriculum. Like I said, women and monsters and femininity. I need heroines to contrast it against. This one was really cool. It's Rain Player. Story and pictures by David by David. I'm not gonna butcher your name. I'm just gonna show it properly on screen so that people can see it. Year of terrible drought. The charts and calendars proclaim, and the people resign themselves to starvation, all except Pick, a young ball player. He stakes their survival on a game of Pocketalk with the fierce rain god. I believe this is just a retelling of a cultural story from South America. I'm going to say South America because I don't know what culture specifically. I don't want to say Mayans or Aztecs and then look like an idiot. The realm of Maya, so it is Mayans. Because there is like a whole author's note about the actual lore and culture of the story. So that's good. That's good to have here. I hope that's respectful and very well done. It seems like it is. It seems like this was written with care because look at this. This is beautiful. This is stunning. Oh, obsessed. Then this one is When the World Began, Stories Collected in Ethiopia. Yeah. It's kind of like a childhood storybook, but it seems like some of them have a little bit heavier themes than I think are ready for kids in my own personal life. So, I mean, I'm always looking for other cultural storybooks to have. So I'm keeping it for myself. The Thousand Orcs, The Hunter's Blade Trilogy, Book 1 by A Salvatore. I've never read any books by this author, but I need an orc book for Fantasy Bingo, and I've heard great things about this author and in the fantasy worlds of this author in general, so I'm excited to get to this one. I don't think I've ever read any orc books either. I have Legends and Lattes up there, but I have yet to read it. Tower by Flora Carr. I was originally going to get this at Half Price Books for my birthday, but then it turns out my library had it at a discard sale, so I got it for $1. Or was it $2 because it's a hardback? Something like that. It's a reimagining of Mary Queen of Scots' darkest hour when she was held hostage in the Scottish castle with a handful of loyal women while plotting a daring escape to reclaim her country and freedom. Because I remember at Half Price Books being like, I have so many already, even though it's my birthday, I can't really justify this. Like, I picked and choose some stuff, and hey, everything happens for a reason. I found it for $1 or whatever at the book club discard sale. Yinka, Where Is Your Husband? I've heard great things about this book. What did Jan give it? I think I first heard about this on Jan's channel, but again, library discard, heard great things about it. Why not? Gay, A Marvelous Light by Freya I forgot to say this author's name. Lizzie Gamilola Blackburn, and then Freya Marsky? I'm not good with names. I am in audio. It's gay, right? It's gay, right? All I know is that it's romance, it's magical, it's kind of historical, and that it's gay. Magic, romance, and mayhem in a beautifully decorated, occasionally actively dangerous Edwardian England. Yeah, I think it's pretty popular on BookTube too. I don't think I need to explain it to you. Okay, the last 3 books in this part 1 of the haul are going to show you how much of an absolute nerd I am, if it hasn't already. Because they are very specifically on niche subjects, kind of like the Pirate and the Billy the Kid book. This is, so if you did not know, hi, welcome, I am an audio engineer. I know. But I'm an audio engineer, and so I'm a nerd about everything audio, especially systems, and especially the development of the technology and the accessibility of technology. Good soup. And so when I saw the Grateful Dead's Wall of Sound and the Quest of Audio Perfection, Loud and Clear by Brian Anderson, and this is an advanced reader's copy, this is an ARC. Yeah, I'm gonna snap that up. I've never really been a big Grateful Dead fan. I appreciate and respect what they did for music, especially with their Wall of Sound and stuff like that, but it's just never personally been my kind of thing. So, but we studied the wall of sound in the audio engineering that I went to, and I'm so excited to read more into this and learn more about it, because I think there's schematics in here too. Or is there not? I know this is probably not going to be super technically heavy because it seems like it's written for a niche yet wider audience, but I'm still excited to get into this. As I've said, my personal curriculum is involving a lot of women this fall, so I got The Hidden Lives of Tudor Women, a social history by Elizabeth Norton. I thought this would just be a good comparative study of real life versus portrayals in fiction and in media, kind of to balance it, counterbalance it, I guess, or just to give me some further reference, but I'm also just nosy. So, and the last one, which I thought was super cool because of the title, The Trouble with Tea. Okay, let me know. What is this about? The politics of consumption in the 18th century global economy. It's this short too, so you know, I'm so interested in that, because I especially just got finished reading Babel, which this is sort of related. I mean, consumption, politics, global politics, trade, and stuff like that. I'm guessing involving colonial England specifically, and so I'm very intrigued. I'm very interested because I've never been good with economics. I failed both economics classes at Georgetown. Passed only by the curve. Unfortunately, that is not super uncommon because those classes are just what they are. I'm not gonna give information in front of Georgetown University. I'm not gonna do it. But yeah. I'm interested in this. Okay, now I have to clean up my floor, and part 2, Chey, will be back with you sometime. See you later. This is as far as I can go because there's books in front of me. Well, now we've gotten ourselves in a coinky dink, haven't we? Yeah. She looks how I feel. Yes, queen. The final tally is 180 books even. Yeah. Not too bad. Not too bad. It's very bad. 180 books. 180 books. In like the span of 2 months. Do you know how many was yesterday? Yesterday was the last day. When I'm filming this finale or whatever to tell you, yesterday was the last day of the sale, right? You want to know how many books I got in one day? 76. Almost half these books I got in one day. Now, granted, spoiler alert, of the 76 I got yesterday, 18 were for other people. So, you know, I am getting stuff done. And, you know, Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, and stuff like that. But still, 180 books. Total. I am so alone. And I didn't just get books either. I got some media, which I'll show you about later. But as for books, 180 books. Who asked you where to even start? It's a new day. And we're going to continue on with the rest of the haul now that the sale is finished and I've gotten everything that I am going to get. Thank God. Because I don't know how much more my floor can take. Or me. I don't know how much more I can take. Let's start off with some media that I got, which, Lassie, The Painted Hills. This is for my mom. She loves Lassie. Then, Tarzan on VHS. Bambi on VHS. And 101 Dalmatians on VHS. I almost got in an argument with someone on Facebook the other day, which is a sentence that no one should ever say because you shouldn't waste your energy. I shouldn't say an argument, but a debate, because one lady posted in a local group, she was like, I'm looking for a VHS TV with VHS on it, like the old school. For those of you who weren't around, there were TVs that just had a VHS player built in, and she was looking for one for her kids and some VHSs, and the guy was like, just go buy a VCR player. And I was like, by the way, most new TV, the reason she's looking for something like that is because most new TVs don't have an RCA hookup, which if you don't know what an RCA hookup is, red, yellow, white. And if you don't know what those are, you're either too rich for my blood or you're not old enough to be here. Where's YouTube's age verification? But most modern TVs don't have that. They now have HDMIs. They usually only have one or two. That's not saying all TVs, not all TVs, but most of them don't. They don't anymore because most things don't come with RCA hookups anymore. Where my channel 3 peeps at? You know, you know. Anyway, I told this person that I was like, most don't come with RCA hookups, and if you want to have the HDMI for the VCR player to get RCA to HDMI, you have to get an adapter, and then the TV, they may already have other things hooked up into the adapter, so then you have to get another adapter and a splitter, and they were just like, just go buy a DVD VCR combo, and I was like, that is not solving the problem. That is adding extra onto the... You're here for a book haul. The audio engineer in me just... Anyway, where do I start? Oh, let's start with this. So a lot of the books I got, I did get a lot as gifts, including these. So if you know me, you're probably safe. By the time that this video goes up, I've probably already given it to you. The first one we have is Ezra Jack Keats' The Snowy Day. This is a childhood book that I grew up reading, and I think I have my own copy somewhere, but I got this for my friend's kid, because I was like, they should have this in their childhood library as well. Also, for that childhood friend's kid, Ruby and Max Bunny Cakes. Me and this friend grew up watching Ruby and Max. We were a little bit old for it, but we would like watch it and laugh about it and stuff like that, and so I thought it was sweet. Okay? Leave me alone. Disney's Aladdin. This is just a little picture book in the universe of Aladdin. Something about the genie. Only the genie's magical powers can help Aladdin with his true love's heart. I don't know. Maybe it is about the movie. I don't know. But it's just like a little board book about Aladdin. I thought it would be cute for their little library. This is for my cousin who's obsessed with Barbie. Barbie: A Picnic Surprise. She's got kids in her life. Not her kids, but she's got kids in her life of her friends and stuff like that. And I thought this could be cute to have in her apartment for her, or to entertain, you know, any visitors or whatever. And also for her, I got a cat puzzle, because she loves cats. And she doesn't have a cat like that. Well, they do outside, but she's got several orange boys, so yeah. I got several more Jack Reacher novels from my mom. We got The Enemy, Bad Luck and Trouble, A Wanted Man, and Never Go Back. I have read that you don't really need to read these in order, so I hope that's true, but this is the chronological order of these that I have, at least according to Goodreads. Other gifts that I got are kind of chaotic, but we're gonna do it. This is from my friend Alex, who absolutely loves this character. It's the Geronimo Stilton lost treasure of the Emerald Eye. She does not know I'm sending this to her, because I'm sending her a box of clothes. This is gonna be on top, and I hope she appreciates it. Alex! Yeah. These next two are for a friend who loves Warhammer, and I asked him if he wanted one or both, and he said, honestly, probably just book one, but I want to get to the second book that I sent eventually, and I was like, okay, well, they're gonna be closed for like a year, so I'm gonna go ahead and get you both of them, and you can do whatever you want with the other one. But it is Battle for the Abyss, My Brother, My Enemy, the Horus Heresy. Don't ask me anything about Warhammer. I don't know. Okay, I just sent them to him. I was like, do you want this? And he said, yes, snag it, because these are typically pretty rare. And then Heldenhammer, The Legend of Sigmar. I don't know. Don't ask me, okay? They're for my friend. He knows, and that's what matters, right? Then we have a whole stack. This whole stack is going to one of my wives, going to Nat. If you don't know, Nerdy Nat reads, a link in the description below, one of the loves of my life. She's a huge Star Wars person. I've probably already talked about this, haven't I? Oh well, but I got her a bunch of Star Wars books from the sale, because I wanted to. So we had, and she can do whatever, Nat, you can do whatever the hell you want to with them. You can sell them, you can trash it. I don't care. They're yours to do whatever you want with. But we got Star Wars Episode 1 Journal, Darth Maul. Look at his face. Look at his face. How was I supposed to leave him? It's a kid's book. It is a kid's book. But I don't care. Look at his face. Then we have a Star Wars sticker and coloring book. The stickers are mostly all gone, as to be expected, but I want you to look at this one picture of Anakin, because they really did my man dirty. What is that shading on his face? I get that's supposed to be the light, but they outlined him like a portraiture tattoo. What did they do to my man? The next are actual novels, which, again, I don't know anything about, but we have Star Wars, Shadow of the Empire, which I sent this cover to her, and she was like, I love that cover, and so I said, okay, you're getting it. Then we have Star Wars, Dark Force Rising. This is book 2 of a 3-book cycle by Timothy Zahn. We have Star Wars Book 3 of the Black Fleet Crisis, Tyrant's Test. Maybe I do have all 3 of these books, because they're all by the same author. Maybe it's the same cycle. Oh, that would be nice to actually be able to give her. We have Volume 1, Star Wars Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn. So maybe this is actually part of the 3-part series. Then we have Star Wars Volume 3, The Last Command by Timothy Zahn. I'm probably butchering that name. I think this is the series, right? Because this is by the same author, so this would be 1, 2, 3. Oh, that would be nice to actually send her a series. I thought I was just sending her a bunch of, like, piecemeal stuff. Well, that's good. Here you go, Nat. She was explaining to me about how there's legacy and there's canon and there's all kinds of stuff like that, and I'm just happy to listen to it, okay? Y'all ain't gonna be surprised, we got some more chunky fantasy. Number 1, The Rune Lords by David Farland. I know next to nothing about this series, but I read that the very earth is in pain. Its wounds must be healed. There must arise a new king. The Earth King must be reborn. Only then will humanity have a chance to survive. Y'all know I love some forest horror, so. Then we have book 2, Brotherhood of the Wolf. I can read. Then we have book 3, which is Wizardborn, book 3 of the Rune Lords. Look at that guy. Isn't he ugly? Aren't we all a little bit on the inside, though? Bro, look at this pine cone I found. We have This Is Radio, or This Was Radio. This is just a nonfiction book about the history of radio from, like, the 20s to the 60s. You shouldn't be surprised. You're also not gonna be surprised by this one, The Aristocats. I love The Aristocats. It's one of my favorite Disney movies. It's Beauty and the Beast, probably The Aristocats, and then, I don't know, some third thing, but I love The Aristocats. And this is supposedly a record book. Like, you're supposed to play the record along with it and read the book. Obviously it didn't come with a record, but I think that's so cool. And I love the Aristocats. So Thomas O'Malley, O'Malley the Alley Cat. We have Aladdin. It's just a picture book of Aladdin. Hey, I'm trying to build up my library for the, like, whenever my friends with their kids come over and stuff like that. And also, you're never too old to enjoy a kid's book, okay? This is healthy nostalgia. Instead of feeding into the capitalism industrial complex that, you know, rise and feeds on nostalgia, I'd rather give the money back to my library and get that nostalgia. Speaking of, Scooby-Doo Shadow Mystery. If y'all know anything about me, I love Scooby-Doo. There's a giant Scooby-Doo sitting on my dresser right over there right now that stays out year-round. I'm getting a Scooby-Doo tattoo. Scooby-Doo and Courage the Cowardly Dog were very formative to my existence. So when I saw this book that is just... It's cool. It's like a little shadow book, and they're like, oh, what is that in the window? What is that? Oh, no! And then you turn the page, and it's revealed to be, like, a little picture. It's cool. I love it. It's very cute. Also, I call Bub, who's one of my dogs, I call Bub Scooby-Doofus, because everyone says that he looks like a miniature Scooby-Doo, but not like Scrappy-Doo, so I call him Scooby-Doofus. The Bernstein Bears. I don't care that it's Berenstain. It's Bernstein. You can fight me about that. Trick or treat. All about alligators. Ow! Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree. Now, I say these are mine, and they are, but that's not to say I might not end up giving them to, like, a kid in my life someday, or whatever. Especially stuff like this, because I'm keeping these for now because they're nostalgic for me, and if I ever happen to have a family, you can bet your bottom dollar I will use them, but I might end up giving them to a friend or whatever if they need it, or if, like, a teacher, you know, whatever. I'm not being selfish. But they had all of these, and if you're as old as me, I don't know if these ever went out of style. Leap Pad. Do you remember Leap Pads? Leap reading pads? Leap Start? I got The Lion King. I got freaking Batman. Get right, Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne. I can, maybe I need to go back to Leapfrog Leap Pads. Leap and the Lost Dinosaur. And Bear in the Big Blue House. Okay, it is, Tutter's Tiny Trip, but it's Bear in the Big Blue House. If you don't know what Leapfrog Leap Pads are, it was essentially a tablet, the age-old tablet that you could input these, you could, like, take a pen and it would read the words out to you, and you see, like, these highlighted words there. You could get, like, definitions, and it would teach you the word. It's basically a reading aid. It's basically a school educational reading aid, but it was so much fun. I loved it so much when I was a kid. Clifford and the Stormy Day Rescue. This is a Burger King book. Y'all remember when Burger King used to give out books? Do they still give out books? I don't know, but I love Clifford. I got a Clifford in there on that other bed right now. Have you noticed a theme between me and cartoon dogs as part of my personality? Clifford, Courage, and Scooby-Doo. You get me. Let that be a warning to all of you would-be parents out there. And again, just Clifford the Big Red Dog. I think this is the basic book of Clifford the Big Red Dog. Dumbo the Flying Elephant. Yeah, look at that. It's duct taped together. That's how long this thing's been around. Just like me. This one is possibly one of the coolest. Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. But it's a little golden book. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I was gonna give this to Nat, but I'm selfish, and I'm gonna keep this for myself. Because I love this. I love it so much. I guess, like, they have one for every movie. They probably, yeah, this came out in 2015 when they bought the rights to it, so I shouldn't be shocked. But I love this. Where is the picture of Anakin's face that I sent to Julia Or not Julia, Nat. I sent a picture of one of Anakin's faces that was so funny. Look at Anakin. Look at him. Look at little golden book Anakin. He believes in you when he still had hope in his eyes. I know y'all are gonna feel for this one. Corduroy. Yep. Here's the thing with some of these. I know I probably have some childhood copies somewhere, like this book, because I read it when I was a kid. And if I find them, I will give this to another child in my life. But I don't know where they are as of right now, and so I'm trying to replenish what I don't know, I'm not sure that I have or where I have it. So when I manage to go through all my books in storage, if I find this is like a new copy, too. Like, it is not blemished or anything like that. Like, it seems like a fairly new copy, so I will give it to a child in my life if I happen to find my copy. But for now, it's mine. And we have Raccoon on His Own by Jim Arnowski. I'm sorry, Jim. He's gonna come into my comments and be like, how fucking dare you? This one is one that I will probably read and then give to a kid in my life, but I saw it and I was like, I have to read this. It's Shark Lady, The Adventures of Eugenie Clark. Y'all know I'm a shark lady myself, so of course. Hatchling Magic by Ann Downer. This is another one that I'm 99% sure I've seen this cover. When I saw this in the library, I was like, I own this at one time. I don't know whether I own it now, so I got it. But again, if I find it, I will give this to another kid or an elementary school library or something. I will pass it along. But I saw this cover and I was like, that dredged up a memory that I had long since forgotten about. Wayside School is Falling Down. Do y'all remember Wayside School, or is it just me? Did y'all read Wayside School? Did your teachers read out to you different stories from Wayside School when you were in elementary school? I still think about Wayside School. I still think about that one story where they're like, no, this floor doesn't exist and stuff like that. Wayside School is just a bunch of, like, insane stories that take place. If you like Magic School Bus, it's kind of like Magic School Bus, but, like, it takes place within the school, and it's basically a realm of chaos. Whenever I think of the Upside Down Classroom or whatever that anime is, I thought it was about Wayside School at first. The Invisible Classroom, Vanishing Class, whatever that freaking thing is. Okay, we're out of kiddish books now, and, well, let me go over these YA. So these I did not get from the sale. I got them from outside the library at the free book box, and I had never heard of this series before, but say it with me.
Whenever there's demons involved, Chey must stick her nose in it.
So, I saw The Demonata, which is by the same author as Cirque de Freak, but I never read that. As I remember it being really popular when I was in middle school or when I was a kid, but I'd never read them. But I got the first 3 books in the Demonata series. So we have book 1, Lord Loss, looking like freaking Palpatine or something right there, bruh. Book 2, Demon Thief. By the way, I love these cover designs. That it's giving like Joe Abercrombie. If you know, you know. Then we have book 3, Slaughter, which is a pretty cool title, I'm not gonna lie. I hope the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are kind of involved in this. I don't know, seems like a fun middle grade kind of series. I'll see if I like it. If not, I'll pass them along. Some kid I know, some elementary school or middle school library can use them. Alright, now we're out of the kiddish books. On to like the other 80. A Mirror Mended by Alex E. Harrow. This is my first book by this author. I don't think that I have read anything else by them, but this is supposedly a Sleeping Beauty retelling, I think. I also don't read many retellings. I read, what is that Cassandra Caw one? The Salt Grows Heavy? That one was really good. I love that one. But I have heard mixed things about this author from my friends. I think Nat had a reading author taste test vlog and did not really vibe with them. So we'll see what I think. But I'm interested to try it. It's a short little work. So, you know, maybe a good little introduction. It's part of a series they're doing, right? Fractured Fables series. So I guess they're doing a series of retellings. But Elvis Presley is Alive and Well and Living in Harlem by Brian Gilmore. This is just a poetry collection by the author, and it's actually signed by the author in the front. It's personalized to whoever had it before me, but it is signed. From 94? Yeah, from 1994. It's kind of cool, right? I love trying new poetry collections, and this is a BIPOC author, so always a win. Now, a lot of you are going to look at me when I tell you this, and you're going to be like, Chey, that doesn't sound very much like you, but I'm trying new things. Get off my back. A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, I don't know. It's A New Earth. I hear a lot about this. Noah Sebastian apparently loves this book or another one by this author, and I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. I've heard enough things about it to be intrigued, but I have a feeling that there's something that I don't know about this, or something that I don't know about the author, and I feel like I'm behind. I always have this fear that I'm behind on cancellations or like icky information and stuff like that, so I'm not trying to do any accusations, but I'm just like, whenever there's a big book like this that is very popular, typically I'm out of the loop on something about it, and so I'm just like, am I? Someone tell me if I am, because I don't know. I'm sure it's fine though. I'm sure I'm just being paranoid, but yeah, I'm just interested because I've heard so much about this. Noah Sebastian of Bad Omens liked it, and I've heard about it from various places ever since. I think that was like the first place that I heard it enough to pay attention to it though. And it probably wasn't even this book. I think it was another book by this author. Oh well, I got it. Whenever I looked into getting them from my library on Libby and stuff, the books were on hold for like 1 billion years, and so when I saw that, I was like, well, I'll just get it here. Now this is probably one of the coolest finds in the entire haul, but this is a 1970s collection of 5 plays by Oscar Wilde. So it has The Importance of Being Earnest, An Ideal Husband, A Woman of No Importance, Lady Windermere's Fan, and Salome. Isn't this cool? I own several books like this that are from 1970s. I could tell by that font and by the colors and stuff like that. Look at the picture of him. Look at that. I love this so much. Like, this is right up my alley. And it's from a former high school library that actually still has the catalog cards in it, and you can see it dated from 1970. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. This one, I'm intrigued to see if it's accurate or not. It is The History of Taekwondo Patterns. Fun fact about Chey, I am 2nd degree black belt in Taekwondo. By all rights, should be 3rd degree, but it's a long story. So anyway, I've done Taekwondo since I was very little. I love the history of it. I love the practice of it. I love everything about Taekwondo, and I still do it at home. I don't have a local dojo to go to. I'm very curious about this, because I love Taekwondo, so we're gonna see how accurate it is. This one is one that I saw on the shelf for a long time there, and the spine is what got me, but I'm also just interested in it in general. It is the Fireside Book of Boxing. I thought of the meme. I thought of like the manly meme when I saw this spine right here. But yeah, it's a book about boxing. I did get one arc out of the haul, which is His Face is the Sun by Michelle. I'm not even going to try to butcher their name. So there's their name. This is an arc, and I read the back blurb months ago, and I kept my eye on it ever since, because this is a book that I'm either going to really love, or it's respectfully not going to be my thing. I don't think by any means I'm going to go in it hating it or anything like that, but it seems like it might be a little young for me, like it might be more middle grade, and typically with middle grade stories, it either works for me or it doesn't. But hey, like I've said with the others, if it doesn't end up working to me, I know plenty of people that I can give this to and pass it along. But it is Princess, Priestess, Rebel, Thief. Tensions run as hot as the Kamsin winds in the great kingdom of Kitara. Rumors of the pharaoh's mysterious illness abound, and with them, murmurs of rebellion grow. Meanwhile, in the quiet desert, a forgotten oracle begins to unfold, setting a dark prophecy into action and drawing together 4 strangers. This was an incredible find in the free box outside my library. The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. Just a famous fantasy. Do I need to explain this to you? Pretty much everyone and their mother has this on their bookshelves at some point, whether they read it or not, I feel like on BookTube. But I love fantasy, and obviously this is one of the highest points, or like I said, it's on everyone's book list, it's on everyone's recommendation list, or to read list, but now I actually own a copy, and it's in really good condition. Like, I don't have enough chunky fantasy to read. I am chunky fantasy. The Care and Feeding of Ravenously Hungry Girls by Anissa Gray. Another book that I feel like I heard a bit about it, and then it just sort of disappeared into the ether, so I don't really know anything about it. But I like the cover. Oh, it's 2 girls! I have a degree from Georgetown. This is the one that Em is most excited about, I'm sure, in this entire haul, but this is Beloved by Toni Morrison. The only book that I've ever read by Toni Morrison was Song of Solomon, and I did not love it. I really liked it, but I did not love it. But obviously, this is an author that I really want to read their backlist, that I want to be more familiar with, more educated on, and so this was a no-brainer to pick up at my library. I was looking for The Bluest Eye, because that's Em's favorite, and I trust Em's judgment, but this is the only thing that they had. And Em, what did Em say? That it's a really rough read, but everyone should read it once in their lives. So Em, this one's for you. Em is my twin, for those that don't know. Somehow, I found book 2 of that one right there. This is A Salvatore. Is it Salvatore or Salvatore? The Lone Drow? Why did I pick the books that are the hardest words to read on the cover? That does not bode well for me. But this is the Hunter's Blade Trilogy Book 2. I did not find Book 3. Oh well, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. But I found Book 2 of that. So, cool. Is that blood or snot? I don't want to know. But I touched it with my fingy. I'm really mad I did not find book 1 of this, but I found book 2 and 3 of the Harbinger series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So we have Rage and Ruin, book 2, I believe, and Grace and Glory, book 3. I have never read anything by this author. Isn't she the author of the from Blood and Ash series or whatever it is? I've never read that from this author. I've never read anything that I know of from this author, but I'm interested to try it out. I'm gonna try and get book 1 from my library sometime, and then I'll have these books on deck to go afterwards. I thought I was gonna be able to find book 1 when I grabbed these two. Obviously not meant to be. But now I have these. The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova? Elizabeth Kostova. My Eastern European accent came out there. This is a chonky little guy, and I went on Goodreads to look, because I was like, have any of my friends read this? That's pretty much the indicator if I'm not sure about a book. I'm like, have my friends read this? Do they love it? And M gave this 5 stars 9 years ago, and as we've said, I tend to trust M's judgment, and I told her that, and she was like, OMG. So, actually, a lot of my friends rated this pretty highly. Now, granted, the ratings were typically over 5 years ago, so maybe things have changed, but I don't know, that's enough for me to give it a shot. And I read the synopsis, and it seemed interesting enough for me. Why is Cornersville calling me? I don't know, you go away, Cornersville. I don't know nobody in Cornersville. A lot of you said, Banjo? Dark Debts by Karen Hall. This cover intrigued me from the get-go. I thought that this spine reminded me of something that I cannot remember, but I picked this up and it seems like a pretty interesting mystery, a supernatural thriller. It's a supernatural thriller mystery. I don't know. If I don't like it, then my mom will read it and we'll get some use out of it, but it seems pretty cool. It seems interesting. It involves a priest and a vampire, doesn't it? Something like that. Masterfully combines horror, southern gothic, romantic comedy, and theological mystery in the form of a supernatural thriller. Michael, a sexy Jesuit priest who is having an affair with a beautiful New Yorker editor. Georgetown is a Jesuit college, so I know a bunch of Jesuit priests, and that statement is very funny to me. Cam, a reclusive southern writer who survived a murderous family only to leap to his death under mysterious circumstances, Randa, an obsessive newspaper reporter on the trail of Cam's family secret, and Jack, a lost soul who meets the love of his life just as he realizes he's losing his mind. I'm interested. It could be a good winter read. This one I don't think I intended to get, but I just shoved it in my bag in the blind of the moment, but Raymond E. Feist, Wrath of a Mad God. This is book 3 of the Dark War saga. I don't know why I got this. I don't have any of the other ones. I think I picked it up to try and look for books 1 and 2, and then I just forgot it was in my bag. Maybe it's a sign to try the first book, and if not, then I'm unhauling it. Or I'll see if a friend wants it, I don't know. Whose Woods Are These? The Story of the National Forest by Michael Frome. Michael Fromey. But, hey, it's a book about national forest and woodlands and how eco-defense is self-defense. And we all know that's my thing. So, it's a history and guide to a vast American domain of woods, water, and high wilderness, rich with adventure and information with full-color photos and blah, blah, blah. Also, Stephen Graham Jones, what's up with the green? What's up with the green, Stephen Green Hater Jones? What's up with that? I am telling you people, he's got some kind of experience with green being associated with horror. And speaking of that, trying to jump scare Stephen Graham Jones, boo! Boo! Green! Boo! A lot of y'all are like, what the f are you talking about? If you've read Stephen Graham Jones, I want you to go back and reread how many times he uses the color green as a terrifying color. And then his new short story in the Aardvark collection is about a sinister green parrot. I'm not crazy. Well, I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy for that. I'm telling you, there's something there. Someone is gonna clip this and send it to him, and he's gonna be like, she's right. We have The Great Gatsby. It's just a really cool Scribner's edition. I have a couple of, but, oh, wait. You can see him down there in the very corner where I'm pulling. I have Hemingway versions of these Scribner editions, so I thought it would be cool to get The Great Gatsby, because I also don't think that I own The Great Gatsby. I used to have a copy that I had for high school, but again, don't know where it is, so cool to have this edition. And the actual green, you know, like from the book. Thank you, Chey. Anyone, when you see this cover, you'll know why I got this. This is The Secret Books of Paradies 1 and 2 by Tanith Lee. Yeah, I saw him and said that I wanted it. It's some kind of dark fantasy, dark urban type high fantasy with this world. It's like, come and look at the tortured streets and all the tortured characters and all that. And I just want to know what's up with this dude. I want to know what his deal is. But also what really sold me, because I was like, maybe I won't like this. I'm pretty sure this is the same font as Black Sun Rising, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite books that I'm reading. And I said, okay, I trust you. I'm trusting you. We'll see if I was duped. Nope. This, I have no real explanation to why I got these. I don't know, what is this series called? I don't know. What is this called? It's some kind of Julius Caesar fanfiction, or like Roman fanfiction or something, by Colleen McCullough. I don't know what the series is called. It's The First Man in Rome, The Grass Crown. What am I doing, Chey? Do I know how to do a YouTube video? The first book is The First Man in Rome. The second book is The Grass Crown. Book 3, I believe, Caesar. And then book 4, Caesar's Women. I have read that these are really good historical fiction, and I love a good historical fiction because I'm a history nerd. Not sure where I'll land on these, but I'm curious enough to try them, and they had the whole set while I was there, so I thought, why not go ahead and get the whole set? Because if I try the first one and I don't like it, then I know to unhaul the rest, you know? And someone, wherever I send these to, someone will be happy to have this whole set. I'm gonna try it. We'll see. Let's open up a random page, shall we? Is Lucius Cornelius in Rome? Unperturbed, Marius helped himself to a stuffed egg. We might be okay. But this is ridiculous. You're telling me that Dante can write Renaissance-era fanfiction about meeting his Catholic faves and how they all become besties on a journey in hell, and that someone can write Roman history, historical fiction fanfiction, but other fanfiction is frowned upon? Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? God, I swear those books weigh like 10 pounds. How many pages are they? Hold on. Y'all think I'm exaggerating. How many fucking pages is this one? The first book is 896 pages. Colleen. The second book, if you can believe it, 894. So already together, we have about 1,800 pages in the first 2 books. In case y'all think I was exaggerating the weight of these things. 664? 664. So 2,400, give or take. And then the last book is 696. 3,100 pages, roughly, in 4 books. I'm gonna throw up. The series is called the Masters of Rome series. We have Servant of the Shard. This is book 1 of the Sellswords. I typically love sellswords and merchant and rogue stories. I'm hopeful for this one. With each kill, I grow wiser, and with added wisdom, I grow stronger. The assassin, for a man like Artemis in Trary, lives hold little value. The drow, from the dark elf mercery, Jarlaxle, the only currency is power. Okay. I know nothing about Wizards of the Coast or Forgotten Realms, so I hope that doesn't disturb my enjoyment of these. It's probably just a lessen my enjoyment, but I hope it doesn't take away. It probably wouldn't. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many friggin' books, right? We have The Pirate King, book 2 of Transitions. I know it's book 2, and I don't think I have book 1. But this is something I'm willing to try because I love pirates. Also, there's a puppy or some kind of animal on the front, which I love. The Portly Proprietor. I also don't have book 1 of this series, but I grabbed book 2 because I would really like to try book 1. This is an author I've been wanting to try for a while because it's a chunky fantasy author I've seen around for forever, so I don't mind that I didn't get book 1. This is Stone of Tears, a sort of truth novel. I am going to say rest in peace to my wrist reading this book. But hey, they had like a bunch of different books from this series at the library, but I thought I'd just get book 2 because I can probably get book 1 from the library or something, and then I'd have book 2 ready to go if I needed it. My ring light said RIP. That's okay. Sometimes it shorts out in the wall. You know, that happens. A pile just fell over. This is The Gilded Chain, A Tale of the King's Blaze. I believe this is book 1 in the series. And then Lord of the Firelands, A Tale of the King's Blades, which I believe is book 2, both by Dave Duncan. The Silent Blade. I am really gonna know whether I like this author by the end of, like, a couple of these books. I have enough of their books tagged. Now I know why people are like, oh, I have so many books by this author and I've never read any. Yeah, I get it now. Then I found book 3 of The Twilight War, which is Shadow Realms. I believe this is, I don't know where I put it, but that book 1 that I got, I believe that was book 1, and this is book 3 by Paul S. Kemp, but I couldn't find book 2. But hey, I got books 1 and 3. This is the sequel to The Silent Blade, the one that I have somewhere. This is the sequel to The Silent Blade. This is The Spine of the World. Very Oblivion coded. When I first saw this, I thought of Oblivion. Am I wrong? Don't tell me I'm wrong if I am. We have The Highwayman, The Saga of the First King. It's giving Prince Bride. It's giving Prince Bride. It's giving The Princess Bride. And that's it. We're done. Now what am I gonna do with all these books? I don't know. But I'm done talking about them. I'm done. My head hurts. I need lunch. We're done. Thank you for sticking around with that. Thank you for hanging around. Obviously, I have enough fodder to keep reading vlogs going for a good while. So if you're interested in any of that, any themed vlogs, any whatever the heck I'm reading vlogs, go ahead and subscribe down below. I'd love to have you stick around and check things out with me and see what happens, see what other messes I get myself into in the future. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you ain't heard it from anyone else today, I love you. Love and peace. Bye!